While US tariff hike have already been widely covered in the media, the uncertainties they pose for India's manufacturing export and the added strain on the country's growth strategies remain significant. Until recently, global attention was on the China+1 strategy, with India emerging as a key alternative to reduce dependence on China. Now, however, the shifting tariff landscape is giving rise to a new trend, the India+1 strategy. This shift is also disrupting India's logistics sector. Freight forwarders and consolidators heavily dependent on the US trade lane have reported revenue and volume declines of up to 50%. In contrast, a temporary 3-month tariff waiver gave China a sharp boost, with freight rates soaring to nearly $26,000 as US buyers rushed to stock up on Christmas goods. Amid these challenges, Indian exporters are actively working to guard against tariff risk and geopolitical volatility by diversifying their production footprint beyond India, spreading manufacturing across multiple locations, enhancing sales to Europe, and getting into local retailing. In today's episode of Logistically Speaking, join me as I explore this evolving trade landscape and examine what's the future hold for manufacturing in India. India's manufacturing sector, particularly thriving hubs like Bengaluru's toy factories and Maharashtra's industrial corridor, faces a challenge. After the US imposed a nearly 50% tariff on Indian imports this August, many US buyers have paused or cancelled orders. As per reports, around 80 to 90% of orders to Tirupur from US companies have stopped, impacting jobs of around 3 million in that area. Many manufacturing units at the outskirts of Bengaluru report significant drop in export order for toys, dolls and figurines following tariff hikes. Buyers anxious about cost are sourcing instead from countries with lower or zero duties such as Bangladesh and Vietnam. According to reports, the US-bound orders from India stalled sharply. Industry insiders revealed that over 20,000 small and medium manufacturing businesses have felt the pinch, particularly as they account for a significant portion of export revenue, and in fact, as per reports, $1.5 billion halted orders are in major garments cluster alone. The current scenario mirrors past global trade realignments. For instance, during the early 2010s, as China faced increasing labor and environmental costs, manufacturers embraced the China+1 strategy, diversifying to nations such as Vietnam, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. Similarly, the 1980s Japanese export restrictions triggered flying geese production shift across Asia, catalyzing emerging manufacturing hubs across South Korea, Taiwan, and later Southeast Asia. Such shift often cause short-term disruption but may also spur medium to long-term growth in alternative hubs, forcing nations like India to innovate and upgrade their manufacturing ecosystems.
Data from Mint and other sources show India's manufacturing exports to the US have dropped by up to 15% in the last quarter.
With sectors like apparel, electronics and transport equipment are the mostly affected ones. While we check the data on Indians' share of US textile market, this used to be at 8% at 4th place, whereas China at 27%, Vietnam at 23% and Bangladesh at 11% were at top 3 positions. India's drop in exports have benefited countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam in textile and also in other sectors, and they are capitalizing on this gap, benefiting from duty exemptions under trade agreements. Their export to the US in similar sectors grew by 10 to 12% year on year. India's traditional strength in cotton production, textile integration and scale remains unmatched. But the tariff shock is prompting shift in order flows to neighboring nations, particularly in fast fashion and low margin goods. Companies are recalculating their supply chains. While India remains crucial, the +1 refers to adding countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, Mexico and Turkey as alternate production bases. This diversification redistributes shipping volume, with logistic providers reporting increased capacity utilization towards Southeast Asia and Mexico ports, balanced by declining container traffic on India-US routes. This also means Indian supply chains need to improve speed, reduce cost, simplify compliance and upgrade quality to retain global buyers. Despite the current setback, India is taking strategic steps. Policy measures like the Production Linked Incentive or PLI and Export Assistance Program aim to boost competitiveness. Infrastructure projects focused on ports, freight corridors and digital customs aim to decrease logistical cost. And more focus is on higher value manufacturing, that is in electronics, pharmaceutical and engineering goods, which could cushion tariff impacts. The key challenge will be balancing price competitiveness with quality and leveraging India's vast market and domestic consumption as a growth driver. India's manufacturing sector stands at crossroads, facing tariff and competition, yet equipped with scale, talent and policy support. The India+1 strategy is reshaping global trade, redistributing manufacturing footprints and redefining logistic flows. Those who adapt faster, embracing innovation, agility and operational excellence will secure leadership in the evolving world market. If this analysis brought clarity, please like, share and comment with your views on how India can overcome tariff challenges, and don't forget to subscribe for continued update on global trade and logistics. Thank you.